Incompetence. And I really have no choice but to understand. Humans don't like to read. They go to school long enough to get their paper degree to pretend they're an experts and stuff and then stop trying. You know, you're literally raised in America, most of you watching this, right? You're taught one language and you can't speak it. You're raised on computers, do schoolwork on computers and calculators and all these different things, and then you're raised and somehow can't use them. You're raised taught memory, right? But choose to be emotional. And it's interesting because, see, I'm supposed to be listed mental illness, right? So I'm less capable than pick a guy. Government officials say in the following scenario. And these things continue to happen, and it's fucking ridiculous. These people are so incompetent. First and foremost, if you're going to treat me like I'm ill, then that means you need a specialist that is familiar with that illness. So autism, Asperger's. That's a beautiful spot. Let's stand here. Okay. Autism, Asperger's, ADHD, which means you have to have the ability, if you really want to see me as wrong or think that you're helping someone at all, to slow down and comprehend what's going on. But that isn't what happens. What ends up happening is they'll introduce themselves, I'll introduce myself. We go down the conversation. They ask me a question like, what medications I take. And I have to say the same damn thing over and over to the same fucking person over and over because no one listens. Or maybe they listen, but they don't hear. Or maybe they hear, but they don't recall, which is a huge problem. So I say, I was on Ritalin, but my body immune itself to it as a kid. Then they put me on Adderall XR 20 milligrams for ADHD. Go down the list of what I was on for what. Ativan for anxiety, but due to retards on the street, they abuse this shit and it's hard to come by. Person focuses on what she wants to focus on. I'm not giving you Ritalin. I didn't ask for Ritalin. You didn't hear a goddamn thing. I said, let's repeat again. Right? Okay. I say I haven't been on medication since I was 19 years old. I'm 31. Even the doctors agree that my coping mechanisms worked for me, right? Kundalini yoga, breath work, meditation, positive affirmations. So they said, it's crazy, man. They fucking flipped the number 19 instead of seeing that. They said, so you haven't taken meds since 2019? Dude. Okay, let's try again. And it's like this with most of these people that I deal with. So much to the point that I have to come off and be assertive. No more tail between my legs waiting on the people lying. I'm being told I'm getting food stamps. It's been a month and a half. I've received no food stamps. You're a goddamn liar. I don't have copies of this paperwork. You take the paperwork from me. In fact, they filled it out for me. Okay? They do not exist. Right? Told about housing. Coerced into using my entire SSI check to fucking get this place for a week, and that doesn't exist. Now they get paid for a week, which is retarded. Told if I did this that I'd be given some of my other money so I'd have cash on hand, and it's nothing like what I'm told. So everybody's a liar. Everybody's memory seems to be failing. And I've gotten it to the point where this is the new rules. You want to deal with Kevin Chaos? This goes for you too, listener. Okay? One time. Kevin's going to give it to you one time. The ways of the shaman of old. He would tell you one time, and if you're worthy of a shaman, you didn't get to write the shit down. You'd remember it. It was important enough for you to want to remember it. So that's the way. If people from now on, if I find myself repeating, because I say no repeats, and usually it just means drama, but now it means everything. If I find myself repeating myself to you, like I've given you permission, record my phone calls. Get a pen and a pencil. Write me down. Just make sure you have the quote right, because I will correct it. I have eidetic memory. Okay, so you're going to either respect me and remember and follow along. If you're pretending that you're fucking helping me, if you're pretending that we're having a one-on-one conversation going back and forth, then we need to go back and forth, not just backwards. And I'm not taking medications I'm allergic to. Another example of these retarded people. Doctor comes to see me. I'm in the ER. I'm there for acute anxiety. It has nothing to do with bipolar, but I have bipolar on my history. I'm there stroking and passing out in the sun, right? Brung in by, what do they call them, CITs and shit, or EMTs, or, the fucking emergency medical teams. It must be EMT. So, I get in the hospital bed, get to this place, barely able to talk, hyperventilating and shit. Get there, hours pass, those symptoms pass. They don't help me at all, really. They just let me fucking suffer. I'm sipping water through my life straw occasionally when I can let my body not reject it through the goddamn sink. So Yeah, thanks for that. And literally, so many problems later. A racist staff who said I threatened to kill her, but if you're a threat to yourself or others, you would get mental health aid, right? But they were literally finding a hard time getting me in because I wasn't, right? Kicked out, the whole bit. Man, people are just completely incompetent. Even when I was kicked out, this racist cop, there's a racist cop and there was a racist staff lady, but the racist staff lady, her name was Delina Brown, and she's one of the Black Lives Matter extremists. So anything they say, whether real or not, if you're a white guy, you're fucked. You're fucked because they're a special interest, a protected group right now. So like things are being brought to all new extremes. So I can't even go to a fucking hospital. And if I could, threat to yourself or others is the requirement, more or less. It's the criteria that you do not meet, as they continue to say. But person after person after person, I'm in there. The guy says, okay, well, we can't treat you all of a sudden. Okay, weird. But we see that you have bipolar, so, I'm telling you right now, that's how he said it. I'm telling you right now, as I was debating it, trying to tell him that I'm allergic to this shit, that I give all of my patients Depakote and Cyprexa. Never heard of Cyprexa from other people. Heard it's bad. It's a new pill. Don't feel comfortable with that. No. And as far as the other pill, both me and my brother have had allergic reactions. So, no. Well, maybe you'll change your mind. I'll come back and check on you. So he goes off. 20 minutes later, he comes back. So you're going to take that Depakote? Are you No one listens, and they talk over you while you're willing to explain and take the time for these retards. But yet, we're the ones mentally ill, and they're the professionals, and they're the sober-minded. I have a better memory than you. I have a higher IQ than you. I can think clearer than you. I can juggle more things at one time than you. So granted that I can keep track of all this shit, and I'm ill and you're not, right? Pill pusher. Why can't you? Why can't the other government officials? Why can't anybody that I talk to on the fucking phone or half the people on the street have enough of a common intelligence to follow along? And if not, follow along to write the motherfucking shit down, to learn from mistakes and happenings, to look back at their life instead of just running forward into a brick wall, to be able to learn from the experiences that they've had. Oh, this guy, if nothing else, you can call him manic or hyper. So I have to be a little slower and take my time. You can even blame me, but the situation doesn't improve because you don't want it to. And I'm literally to that point. There will be no repeats. If you fucking get me to asking me a question I've already answered you, I'm going to say, look it up. Oh, what, you're not keeping a fucking glossary of all of this shit that we've talked about? Then you suck. You're a fucking bad case manager, doctor, therapist, psychiatrist, you name it. Oh, your records aren't thorough enough? You can't write as fast as I talk? Well, I can type 185 words a minute, maybe type it up. I can type while I talk to you and still keep up with it and respond to you and write in what you're saying. Oh, you can't do that? Okay, well, how about I give you permission to use a fucking video camera or a dictaphone to record our meetings, that you might look back on it in your slower brain later to try to grasp from some of this shit and learn from it. That you might approach me when you're ready instead of as the fucking person you're the job suited for, which doesn't make any damn sense. This is what you do, why ain't you good at it? So therapists can't think straight. Psychiatrists can't fucking think straight. Adult Protective Services can't think straight. I have to fucking get on their managers and shit, supervisors, to fucking get them to fucking treat me with any decency. I've literally had to fucking swear someone out, and I do it in the form of voice clips too. I leave the paper trail, make sure that they see who I am, what I have to fucking say. They could try to charge me, call it harassment, do whatever there if they want to. But that's because that's how real it is. I think things through. You do not. I'm an adult. You're a child. You might have a degree, but I'm the adult here. Because I'm thinking through my actions, the cause and effect relationship, the cause and correlation between substance A and substance B. Sequence A, sequence B. And you don't seem to want to fucking do that. So it's interesting that those of us, especially Asperger's people, we're highly intelligent. We recognize patterns. So it gives me an advantage, perhaps you could say. Maybe I have a superior intelligence in regards to this form of communication. But that's why I listed get out a pen and pad. Use your computer. Bitch can't even turn on her computer. She's so unprepared. The computer isn't even on. You literally get to hear it boot up, and guess what? It's old computers too, totally hackable, totally easy to get through, which should not be in these kind of offices. What are our funds being used? What are the taxpayers paying to do but keep their medical fucking shit insecure? Like, there was a thing in Centera, and this is one of those hospitals, 4 or 5 years ago, where literally every patient's social security number, every patient's card, every patient's, all the records were public knowledge because some hacker had broke through. They actually sent us an email to tell us to change our passwords and go through all this shit that it might be vulnerable. At what point are adults going to behave adult-like? At what point are people going to stop and think through their actions or their connections and speeches with others? Because I can tell you I'm thinking through it right now. And there's a zero tolerance policy. No nonsense from here on out. If you aren't fucking smart, sorry, dude. And I have to judge you on intelligence because you have the potential to be smart. It's not that I'm so smart. I just stay with my problems longer. Being ignorant versus being stupid are two different things. Being ignorant is not so much a shame as being unwilling to learn. These are all Einstein quotes, by the way. Of all the things I've learned, I learned most when I wasn't in my right mind, even, he said. So if all of us can do it, if druggies can do it, if mental patients can do it, why can't the sober do it? Why can't the doctors do it? And I can tell you why in a single word. Ego. Pride. You get to call yourself a doctor, and it causes you to feel overly confident instead of being subjective and looking at things as they are. You look at things on what's worked in the past for someone completely unrelated to this client, for someone completely unrelated to this conversation. You handle things in an instinctive, emotional nature instead of detached, objective, analytical nature of what's actually happening. You live by memory. You live by reaction. You live by unconscious behavior. I do not. I'm here now. And I suggest you guys get with the fucking program because anybody who's causing me any problems being cut off right off then and there. Unless you shoot me in a way that you also don't understand, Jet, or benefit me in some way along my master plans. Destination. All right, so hope you guys learned a little fucking something. Don't tolerate people's nonsense. I surely won't. I demand respect. I demand it. I've given people permission and cheat codes and loopholes to try to make their lives easier. They're the ones who want to deal with me and claim this or that. Then fucking follow along. I'm not going to fucking torture myself in hours and hours and hours on the phone every day to deal with insolent retards. And that's exactly what it is. Retard. By definition, hate if you want to. R-I-T-A-R-D. To slow down in tempo. That's retard. It's a music term. So, don't be retarded. Take your time. Think before you act. Don't call me until you're ready to talk to me. Dude, you're not even ready. What are you fucking telling me it's an appointment scheduled days in advance for if you ain't fucking ready? Alright. So, no nonsense. No mercy.